Welcome in right now, Pro Fighter League Heavyweight Daniel Gallemore. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Just over a week away. How excited are you?
I'm getting pretty excited, man. I've never been to New York, and it'd be cool just to go and visit and take care of some business and eat some pizza and maybe see a couple things before I head back out of town.
So I guess, do you have a tourist list? Do you have some destinations that you must knock out while you're there?
No, not really. I mean, the fight's in the garden, so that would be the main one. I'll probably check on some stuff, and I've got some friends and stuff that are coming up too, and see what they want to see. But I'm just excited to kick some ass and eat some pizza.
A historic venue. What was your first thoughts when you heard that's where the fight was going to be?
I was stoked. I mean, that's the goal, of every fighter in America. I think like to fight in the garden is on the list of things to do. Pretty crazy. I grew up in a town of 500 people, so fighting in a place like that is pretty awesome.
You've come from those humble backgrounds and you've seen a lot of the world due to fighting. What has that been like?
I haven't actually traveled outside of the United States, but yeah, I mean, I lived in Hawaii for a while, and I've got to travel to the States quite a bit and meet some really cool people. So I mean, that's been amazing. It's so educational to travel, and like Hawaii too is so much of a different culture out there. It's a different world. It's nice to see all the different cultures and kind of get a perspective from everybody's point of view. I think it was Julius Caesar said that experience is the teacher of all things, and I believe that. Growing up in a small town in Kansas, you don't get out and get to see a whole lot, but when you do, it's pretty awe-inspiring and educational.
Well, looking globally, do you have some destinations that are goals of yours where you'd like to fight?
Um, I think fighting in Japan would be sweet. I don't have a lot of goals. There's a lot of places I want to visit. It's not necessarily fighting. It'd be more just for like the tourism aspect. I'd love to go to New Zealand. I'd love to go to Australia. Like I said, Japan would be sweet. I think Moscow would be kind of neat, actually. I think one of the other places actually would be, I definitely want to visit the Colosseum.
Go to Rome.
That's kind of yeah. That's a fighting thing there, too, like the original gladiators. And you go out and check out some of the country out in that direction. The Moscow Muse or something like that, too. Probably out that way.
Now, I saw met you when you were taking care of another hobby, working with some photography, and actually did some fight photography at LFA 39. So, is that another thing you'd want to do a lot of photography on these trips?
Yeah, I mean, I try and share the perspective and the experience with everybody on social media and whatnot. I'm told I'm pretty good at it. I'd like to think so. I don't have any fancy equipment or anything. I just use my phone and whatnot. But yeah, I'm told I got a decent eye for it, and I've got some friends that are really, really good at it. That's what they do to make a living. And so I mean, yeah, that would be something I would want to do. I don't really look at it as becoming a profession, but out of hobby, definitely it's fun. It's kind of neat to capture the images and stuff, because those stick around more accurately and more permanently than some memories do. So it's nice to have that.
And how long have you had this photography hobby?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose I messed around with it when I was a kid. Even I was pretty artistic. I usually did well in art. People don't really think about that or recognize that really, but I always did pretty well in art classes and stuff ever since I was a kid and growing up. So I always kind of had the image for it, and it was always like landscapes and countrysides and wildlife was always kind of what I liked to do with my artwork, like to draw or to sketching it out or paint or whatever. So I just kind of went from there. Then technology, everybody's phone's got a camera on it now, and some of them are pretty good cameras. So I met some friends along the way that were really good photographers, and it would kind of interest me on how they get the different settings and how they get the image looks perspectives. So I learned some things and picked up things along the way, and then I've been fortunate enough like I said, to live in Hawaii, and now I live in Colorado, so I live in some pretty photogenic places, and I've got to visit some pretty photogenic places that some people don't get to go see, so it's nice to share that.
Do you have a favorite photo of yours so far that you've taken?
Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. The one that comes to mind is my 3 kids, man. We were out fishing one day, and the weather was just gorgeous, and I was standing behind my younger son. He's got his pole in the water, and then on the other side of it, just a little farm pond. On the other side of the pond, you can see my older 2 over there fishing. And, I mean, it's just like I said, it's a permanent memory now. Like, I have that picture. Even if I were to get dementia or anything crazy, you know, I would still have that image. It would still be there. It would still be clear. So that's always good to have. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. It ended up in Flint Hills Magazine and one of the Kansas magazines and stuff. So they apparently appreciated it as well. It was nice. It was a really nice day.
Was that a little shocking seeing your own photo in printed like that?
I've had a few of them now. So it wasn't like overly shocking. Like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I got a good picture. This is great." And then I knew it was a pretty good picture. I didn't know that they would take off with it. But I mean, I'm from Kansas. I love Kansas, but it's not the most photogenic state there is for sure. You know, it's kind of flat and a lot of farmland and stuff. But I mean, beauty is the eye of the beholder too, so that varies. But one awesome thing about Kansas is the hunting and fishing. There's a lot of hunting and fishing available in Kansas. It's very game oriented for that.
How would you talk about your love of then nature and these outdoor activities?
I mean, I grew up in a town of 500, so you know, we fished and we hunted, and we didn't have a farm, but we helped out on farms. We worked cows. We do stuff like that. We throw hay. It's kind of a small town Kansas living, so I mean, you grow an appreciation for the land, and you kind of learn how to live off of the land. And one thing about land is we have what we have. There's not going to be any more. Like, we need to take care of what we have. So it drives me crazy seeing people that litter and stuff like that. It drives me nuts. I hate that stuff. I'll be the guy that says something. You'll leave your pop bottle, and I'll be like, "Hey, you need to pick that up." That's me. I'm one of those people because it just drives me crazy. The laziness and stuff. And it's frustrating because there is no more land. What we have is what we have. So we need to take care of it. Being raised that way is why I grew an appreciation for it. You know, Boy Scouts and then hunting and fishing and stuff, like living off the land. That's what we got.
A family man, a nature lover with a photography hobby. So when does punching people in the face come into play?
Small town, man. Small town Kansas. There wasn't anything else to do. I was back in the day of Jean-Claude Van Damme and, you know, the movies and the Ninja Turtles and Hulk Smash and everything else growing up. You know, that's what we saw on TV. And it's just, it's natural, I think, for boys to wrestle and play and fight and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it seems to be instinctual to a certain extent. You know, back then, I'm not that old, but we had like Nintendos and stuff. We were pretty poor, so not everybody had that stuff. Like we were out catching frogs, or we were wrestling in the backyard, or something like that. So it just kind of came to be, I guess. I don't even really remember when my first fight was. Like, I don't remember when I started fighting. I can tell you that I lost baby teeth from fighting at recess in elementary school. So whatever age that would be, 10, 9. I probably did best I could at the time, because that was. I remember one time I got in trouble was because I told on somebody. I told who my mom was mad or something, and they're like, "Oh, who hit you?" Like, so hit me. And my dad was like, "You don't tell." Did you hear that too? Like, yeah, we were doing this. And I don't want to hear about it. You fell. Okay, I fell.
So it's just the upbringing. It was just the country way of life.
Yeah, I mean, that's what country boys do. We go across the street from the school and fight. It wasn't a big thing. Definitely different now. The resource officers and fucking school shootings and all kinds of stupid shit nowadays.
Right, yeah, no, things get way out of control way too fast these days.
a lack of respect, man. Like growing up small town too, that you just the respect aspect is drilled in you, like it's instilled. And then like my dad was former military, some of his friends were former military. His dad was military. It's just, I mean, you respect people, you respect the land, you show respect, and you don't fight like a fucking coward. Like some of these guys pulling guns and knives, and that's just ridiculous, man. It's one thing if it's war, but it's not. You know, people get so offended and so butthurt so easily now. It's sad.
Definitely. And how is that kind of changed you as your aspect and view on the world, and changed you as a father?
I mean, my kids they're still a small town. They live in a smaller town in Kansas. They go to school in Topeka. They go to a decent sized school, but my boys still in Boy Scouts. They still get that small town vibe, I guess. You know, they learn respect. Man, when my kids first came to Hawaii in the summer, I get them in the summers. My daughter, the first day there, we went to the beach because of the time difference. So they were up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Dad, let's go do something. Dad, because in Kansas it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. So they're up. So we walked to the beach, and my daughter was like, Dad, why is there so much trash on the beach? I was like, it's just the way it is here, homeless people and stuff. She was like, well, can we clean it? I was like, well, yeah, I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't clean up trash. So we started cleaning the beaches and stuff, and that's the mentality that they have, that they've grown with, and they understand the respect thing, too. They get the living off the land and whatnot. My daughter has a little garden plot in my parents' house right now, because my parents and my ex-wife and kids all live in Kansas. But because of the fight schedule in the summer, my time, so I usually get summer vacation and spring break and stuff, but my time is split up a little bit with my mom because I have to worry about camp and stuff. I don't want the kids here, distractions, or if I need to travel or get anything done, I don't want to have that lingering responsibility, really. So they're staying with my parents son too. But yeah, my daughter has her own little garden plot. My son's learning how to cook, and he just got his 100 education this year, so he might do some target practice and stuff this summer. Actually, I'm sure he will do target practice and stuff this summer. And they're still living that kind of that lifestyle too. But they've been able to see the world as well, or not the world, but other states and other cultures as well. Because where I travel, they come see me, like Hawaii. And we spent a week in Las Vegas with Travis Brown and Rhonda. And they got to go, hang out in Vegas. We only went down the strip one time. It's like my oldest is 11, so like, oh, we want to see the Las Vegas strip. I was like, when we leave town, I'll drive down it. That's it. We'll go hike stuff, but you guys don't need to see the Las Vegas strip yet.
Right. They don't need to know anything about blackjack.
Yeah, no. Or go-go dancers or any of that. The hustlers and they're still kids, man. They can still be kids for a while.
And you're doing, obviously, your job of raising them that old school kind of way, and it's a different kind of way than what we see going on now, especially with so much social media, and you being a fighter, about having to keep that presence up to keep building your brand.
Yeah, for sure. My son has an Instagram. It's highly monitored, and he's not even on there that much, but he still thinks it's cool. And he has a cell phone. So he still has some exposure more than I did when I was his age, but it's not overwhelming.
And as we sit here talking, we're a little over a week away from the Pro Fighters League. What's that been like, this camp, getting ready for the PFL?
It's not quite the same, but it's another fight camp. It's got to be a little more careful about injuries and stuff, because you have another fight 6 weeks after, so it's not like I can, if I make it through this fight, I've got a month to heal. That's not the case, so I really got to take care of myself. But, other than that, not much has changed. Same sparring partners, same old.
Was there more of a plan set out, thinking about the season format? Did you have to, before starting in camp, kind of sit down and map how you were going to do this?
I mean, somewhat, but there's enough time that between fights that the first two anyway, I'll know who my opponent is ahead of time. So then when the tournament rolls around to October, it'll be a little bit different because I'll know who I have in the first round, but I won't know who I have in the second round. So the opponent studying and stuff will have to be a little more vague. It won't have to be quite so specific for training because there's a lot of variation in the tournament. There's a lot of different styles and stuff. We've got like Sean Jordan's very unorthodox and he's a tricky striker. And there's Jake Kuhn, who's a smaller guy, so he's probably going to be quite a bit quicker. There's Jack May, who's 6'8", man. He's a 6'8" striker. And then my buddy Josh Copeland is significantly shorter. And, he's an inside guy. There's a lot of different styles, so it's going to be it's just going to be hard for everybody, because you can't like Travis Brown is a friend of mine. So if I was fighting Jack May, I'd be like, hey Travis, we need to get together. But it's not the case. At least not for me, not this time. But like if my next fight is with him, then I would definitely take a chance to talk to him. Just because he's 6'7". But then if there's somebody else in the tournament, if I'm going to get somebody else in the second round, then I don't really need to have that extensive and specific of training for somebody that size or that style. So it'll have to be more of an open, like a kind of generic training, I guess.
So what was the thought process in signing up for Pro Fighters League, for getting involved with this format? What was the process that it took for you to sign on board?
I mean, it wasn't much. I've always been game for kind of whatever. I'm not one to turn a fight down. I've only backed out of one fight in my life, and that was because I had a significant ACL tear and was matched up against a big wrestler. So that was why I even backed that out when I was an amateur years and years ago. I mean, 5 fights in 6 months. That's a lot of activity. That's good though. That's a decent paycheck and stuff. The only thing I was bummed about with the format was I get my kids during the summer, and I got to fight in June and I fight in July. So it takes away a lot of the time for them. I've been really fortunate in the last couple of years. I had fights at the end of May, and then I was like, okay, cool. I have to fight in May. Make a little bit of money, and then I can work some through the summer, but I don't have to work a whole lot, and I'll have my kids, and we can experience things. So we can go out, we can go camping, and we can do whatever. So this summer is obviously going to be a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure it'll pay off in the end. And my kids are pretty excited about the whole thing too. They're old enough that they understand and they get it, but they're not upset about it at all. But, so it works out. But yeah, as far as the format goes, it wasn't. I didn't have to put much thought into it. I kind of knew a little bit ahead of time too, because I'm friends with Ray. Like I've known Ray for a while because he was Travis's coach, and I have Travis in camp. So he showed some interest back then. So I had a pretty good idea, and I'd thought about it quite a bit before then. But I've always liked the format. I think it's really neat, and it's great for a guy like me because I've never been in the UFC. I don't have a big name. I don't have a lot of highlights and stuff, that are out there that are public. So it's the same playing field, though. Once we get in the tournament, it's the same pay. Everything is the same for everybody. It doesn't matter if you have the name or not. So that's a great thing for a small guy like me, personally.
Going into the fight with Francimar Barroso, what are you expecting in this one? We've seen him from the UFC. At light heavyweight, he has been a very clinch-heavy fighter. Is that what you've been expecting?
Yep, first time I've been looking for. I really do want to get inside. It's unfortunate that we can't do elbows in PFL because that's a pretty weapon from inside for a taller guy, but I do expect him to be clinch heavy. I've seen he's gotten knocked out a couple times, I think. So that's kind of my game plan is to keep in that range and go from there. If he does get in the clinch, then I'm not terribly uncomfortable there either. I've got 2 of my last 3 wins were by front chokes, so that's a +2. I'm not, if I can get a hold of his neck or something, I'm not too bad. And if it goes to the ground and I get uncomfortable, I can sweep and get up. I'll be the bigger fighter, so it shouldn't be too terribly bad. I don't think really anywhere.
And you mentioned it earlier, training with Josh Copeland. I'm sure that you expect that the guy you're wrestling with is much better than what Barroso is going to bring into the cage.
Oh yeah, Curtis Blaze is one of my main training partners. We just had Juan Adams up here for a few days out of Texas. He's going to do big things. He's fighting on the Contender Series in July. he was really good. He was really big. He's bigger than me. So yeah, we've got some pretty good training partners out here. Yeah, that works out. It's good partners to have for a match like this.
How did you end up with the transition from, obviously, born in Kansas, you had been in Hawaii. How'd you end up transitioning back to Colorado?
Colorado is always kind of what I wanted to be. I think I visited out here when I was like 15, something like that. And I was like, man, I really want to retire here. And I just always liked it out here. And it's close to home, you know. Like if something happened to my kids, I could leave right now. I could be there in 7.5 hours. You know, maybe less if I was speeding. So that's always nice. Where in Hawaii, they just have that. You know, they're out there in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, I've always liked Colorado for sure. And I've always kind of wanted to be out here anyway. So things just kind of laid out. You know, Shane Carlin was going to come back, and Coach Leister Bowling was the head of Elevation when it was a muscle farm, and he invited me in. One of my other coaches, Michael Sullivan, he's a fuse box, he did sambo and stuff. He needed some help with he was starting a business, and he helped doing home construction and woodworking stuff, which I am pretty knowledgeable about. So it all just worked out right there. That's what brought me out here.
And so far, everything, your opinion's been great?
Yeah, everything's going good. I like it out here for sure. I mean, everywhere has its ups and its downs, but Colorado is definitely one of my favorites. Hawaii was cool for a year, but that's not my cup of tea out there. It's out there for sure. It's a different world.
Heading into PFL 1 with this different format, do you feel the sense that you're getting ready for a season-long endeavor? Do you have that feeling back to kind of the wrestling days?
Back to the wrestling days, you said? Kind of. You know, it's only, I mean, at tops it's going to be 5 fights, and 2 of them are in one night, so it's not even like, one of them is not a full fight. So it's not quite like wrestling. It's not like multiple matches in a day, every weekend. There will be some downtime to an extent, but it's not, I don't know. It's just, I wouldn't say it doesn't feel seasonal because they're not back to back, but it definitely is. It's nose on the grindstone. You know, it's not going to be a lot of downtime. There's not going to be a lot of you know, eating pizza and drinking Jack and Cokes or you know, sponsor shout out Cold Cock whiskey or any of that. You know, I'm not going to have a lot of time for that. I'm going to have to be one and then right to the next one in July, and then even from July to the August show, or July to the October show, I'm sorry, isn't that far apart. So I'll probably have to take a couple weeks off just to recuperate, you know, if I have any injuries or anything. Hopefully I don't, but it's a possibility. So we'll go from there and kind of relax for a little bit, but then I have to get right back at it. So, but I don't think it'll be too bad because, like I said, they're not that close together. You know, there's a lot of guys that fight 4 or 5 times a year. Look at Tony Lopez. That guy fights like once, twice a month.
I don't know how that guy does it. Like every other weekend he has a different fight. I don't know A, how his body does it, and B, how he finds all those fights.
Yeah, I don't know. Josh Train, though, guy's a soldier. He's a warrior for that.
Have you and Josh training together? Have you guys talked about that? It's pretty cool embarking in this new endeavor, being in the first season of what the PFL is doing?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, we're very supportive of each other, man. I talk to Josh already today. I talk to his coach. Like, we're super supportive, and I hope to see him in the finals. Like, I don't want to fight him, but I hope to see him in the finals because that means we both made it to the finals. We're both getting a nice paycheck. It's good. But yeah, we're pretty close. You know, we just hung out yesterday and not even training. We were just hanging out. So yeah, we definitely thought about the whole thing. We both think it's pretty awesome. Josh is a super nice guy, very, very positive. He's a great dude, so it's working out pretty well so far.
It's a big opportunity over the next couple months. Again, the possibility of going from a relative unknown to a millionaire and on NBC. It's a big big prospect in front of you.
Yep, that it is. I'm trying not to let it get to me. I'm pretty chill most of the time. I gotta try and continue to keep it that way. I'm usually pretty good about keeping everything under wraps, though. I don't get too emotional or wound up, too hyped up beforehand. You know, because at the end of the day, it's the fairest fight I've ever been in. You know, nobody's gonna pull a gun or a knife, or he's not gonna have friends or anything else. So it's not terribly scary.
Does it help you fight night when that bell rings, having that mentality, being able to stay so even keel?
Does it help? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that allows the focus and the control and the composure, man. I mean, if you don't have composure, you're not gonna make it very far usually in any kind of fight or anything anyway. You know, then it's all on you, and you're gonna be reckless, and it doesn't really play out very well. So yeah, I mean, the even keel and the composure is definitely a key factor for anybody, professional athletes in general, all of them, all the sports.
Daniel Gallemore, it's been great getting to talk to you. We talked about photography, family, covered Pro Fighters League coming up here. Excited to see how that format goes. Last but not least, I wanted to give you a moment. Was there anybody you needed to thank or shout out to?
Power Plus Knoptides is one of my main sponsors for this fight. Cold Cock Whiskey is also another main sponsor for this fight. My old boss, Daniel Gallemore at DPP Manufacturing, is always super supportive. Jesse Nacio at Juke Performance. I really like another suit. I had one of those the Juke Performance. I'm having a brain fart. Can't remember what they're called right now. But the Super Elastic bands are awesome, man. They're a very training tool, but mine got stolen on my truck. It's unfortunate. I think all my manager, Robert Carver, friends and family, everybody that supports me, I always appreciate it. It's a great thing. You know, I'm going to try and go out there and put a little bitty Eskridge, Kansas on the map.
And actually, one more question real quick that just came to mind. Does it feel like a different kind of event at PFL 1 with all the guys in the tournament, with the whole weight class being there? Does that give you kind of an extra attention to the fights that happen after yours to kind of take a look and see what the guys are doing?
Definitely. Definitely. You get to see them backstage and the whole bit, not just the film that's on YouTube. You can see the mannerisms and characteristics and the coaches and everything else. You get to see it all. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more attention to that for sure. Because, I mean, the bottom line is we're all going to be there. My next opponent's going to be there, and hopefully the opponent after that's going to be there, and the opponent after that's going to be there, and the opponent after that's going to be there. So, yeah, there'll be a lot more attention to detail and stuff like that for sure.
Great insight. Again, Daniel, thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.